Ever wondered how much safer your work at height operations could be? Imagine a world where every potential hazard is detected before it becomes a problem. Meet Tracker AI's smart PTZ camera system. This isn't just any camera, it's a game changer in work at height safety. Safety is paramount, right? It's the foundation of a productive and happy workforce. Despite stringent regulations, accidents still happen. Traditional methods often fall short in preventing these incidents. Enter Tracker AI's smart PTZ. This advanced system is designed to fill the gaps left by outdated safety measures. Tracker smart PTZ cameras deliver unmatched oversight so you can spot hazards before they become accidents. Offering 24/7 monitoring, it detects work at height safety hazards instantly, no matter the time of day or night. Think about it. Real-time monitoring, automated alerts, and even fall detection. It's like having a safety manager who never blinks. Real-time alerts trigger immediate action, ensuring that potential dangers are addressed before they escalate. Automated surveillance significantly reduces human error, making your work site safer and more efficient. It even detects PPE and welding work compliance, ensuring that all workers are properly equipped. Ensure every worker goes home safe. That's the ultimate goal, isn't it? Ready to elevate safety? Stay safe, stay smart. With Tracker AI, you're not just upgrading your equipment, you're upgrading your entire safety culture. The Tracker Smart PTZ camera features advanced AI algorithms that are constantly learning and adapting to new safety challenges. With 360-degree rotation and high-definition video, it covers every angle, leaving no blind spots. You can decide which areas to cover, what to detect in each area through a simple online procedure without ever leaving your seat. Through the setup, you can monitor what is happening on the ground in real time remotely. In a recent case study, a manufacturing plant reduced accidents by 40% after implementing our system. Features include night vision, advanced monitoring for PPEs, work at height and welding activities, including real-time analytics, making it a comprehensive safety solution. Our team of experts ensures the highest quality and reliability, constantly innovating to meet your safety needs. Plus, our dedicated support team is here to assist you 24/7, ensuring that you get the most out of your investment. Join the revolution in safety with Tracker AI's smart PTZ camera system. It's time to take your safety measures to the next level. Visit tracker.live to learn more and get started today. Together, we can create a safer, smarter future for everyone.
Welcome to another episode of Hacklab podcast. Today, we are talking about something that is often gets misunderstood in industries like construction, manufacturing, and infrastructure, that is ISO certifications. For many companies, ISO is treated as a compliance checklist, a stamp to satisfy clients or regulators. But what if it could be much more? What if ISO systems could actually drive efficiency, safety, and even give companies a competitive edge? To unpack this, I am joined today by Mr. Vishal Shah, founder of SysTransform Solutions. He is an ISO strategist, auditor, and consultant who has helped countless organizations go beyond compliance and build smarter, safer, and more resilient systems. Thank you, sir, for joining us today. I would request you to share a bit about yourself and also tell us about your company.
Thank you, Amber. Hello, everyone. I am Vishal Shah, founder of SysTransform Solutions. So we are providing business services like business excellence, impart training pertaining to technical training, functional trainings, behavioral trainings, and ESS subjects. And we also provide technical support to construction industry. And not last but not the least, and for which we are gathered today is end-to-end support of ISO consultancy. So ISO, currently ISO 9001, 14001 and ISO 45001. Thank you.
Great, sir. So let's get started. So first question is, why do so many organizations see ISO as just paperwork instead of a tool for transformation?
Yeah, I think the organization see they chase the ISO certificate as certificate, we can say, not as a system. Also, what has happened that many government and private clients have added fuel into this because they insist ISO certificate as part of the pre-qualification requirement of the tender bidding, right? So this leads to heavy files, checklists, and actually no real change in system. It remains just a certificate. When ISO is linked with actual processes and systems, it becomes a powerful tool for improvement. It's really about culture and mindset, whether company wants only compliance or transformation in real meaning.
Right, sir. So the company should think a more holistic view of ISO rather than just putting it out as a checklist. So how can ISO 9001, 14001, and 45001 go beyond certification to actually improve the efficiency and safety on projects?
So, as you rightly mentioned, ISO 9K, 14K, 45K, which is generally called in the industry. So, if they are applied objectively, the reference standards will reduce rework, prevent accidents, and they will optimize the resources. Right now, they bring discipline in planning and execution, and that directly translates into faster project and safer sites. The biggest value in the implementation of this standard adds that they build consistency across all level of projects.
Right, sir. So, sir, can you share an example where ISO implementation led to clear business advantage, whether it is cost saving, safety outcomes, or winning the client trust?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the companies where I worked earlier, they got very good results by implementing the ISO standards in true meanings, and that too they started in 2000s, where most of the companies ISO was just a foreign matter, and clients were nowhere aware about this, we can say, jargons. The true implementation meant for that organization was standardization of the processes, lower insurance costs, fewer stoppages, better quality, and better delivery, and in turn, better bottom line. So what happened that because clients also notice their better performance, they won the repeat projects from those clients. And in the longer run, quality and safety became a business enabler rather than just a organizational requirement.
Right, sir. So I think when they see results, they are more um, attracted towards implementing ISO in a more holistic way. So, sir, how does ISO support your concept of building a first time right culture in organization?
Yeah, very nice point you have raised. So, first time right, if many organizations now implementing first time right culture, right? So, ISO is all about risk-based thinking and preventive actions. So, when prevention is better than cure, we also call that idiom is also there. So, over the time, what happens that it changes how people think about mistakes and not as something to fix later, but to avoid upfront only. And it forces teams to plan, check, and execute systematically. That mindset is what really drives the first time right approach. So, in a nutshell, it's all about prevention rather than correction.
Right, sir. So, sir, I was just thinking this is a bit off from the question. So, ISO, is it like an international standard or is Indian specific to India?
No, ISO, though it is not English term, but generally ISO it is called International Standardization Organization, and it is a nodal agency, worldwide nodal agency, and more than 150 countries are part of that organization. And from India, means the nodal bodies of the countries represent their country in that organization. And from India, Bureau of Indian Standards, BIS, that represents the ISO. So what happens that ISO, when we are talking about, it is management standards. Basically, these 9K, 14K, and 45K, they are management standards. But ISO is having, there are many other standards also, other than management standards are there. So it started long back, I mean, after World War II. And after World War II, what happened that there was a need in the entire world that some standardization should be there, because when in the World War II, the countries fought together, but yet they were not able to use resources of one country, was not able to use resources of other country because of it was not standard. So that's why that concept of standardization came, and in 1948 the organization was set.
Okay, that's very interesting. Thank you, sir, for sharing that. So moving forward, what happens when companies treat QMS, EMS, and OHS separately versus integrating them into an IMS? And can you please share what is IMS full form?
Yeah, sure. So IMS basically stands for Integrated Management System, right? All the, as earlier I also mentioned that it is management, these all three are management system standards. 9001 is quality management system standard, then 14001 is environment management, and 45001 is occupational health and safety management. So what would happen when the company will run implementation of these standards separately? They will face duplication, and probably confusion also will create, and maybe even more cost will be there. But when they implement IMS, or we can say integrated management system, what will happen that one processes will cover requirement of all these three standard requirements: quality, environment, and occupational health and safety management. And it is leaner, and it is much easier to manage. What will be result that this brings the accountability within the process owners to integrate the requirements together. So if they are separate, and by any case one requirement of one standard is not addressed to that process owner, then he will comply the requirement of one standard, but probably will not comply requirement for the other standard. But when it is IMS, then he will be compelled to comply the requirements of all the standards. Plus, what will happen, it will help everyone in the organization to speak the same language of performance.
Right, sir. So I was just thinking that in India, every company by law has to be ISO certified. Is there some kind of a governmental body that looks after this certification in India? If you can briefly give some thoughts on that.
Right, so by law, there is no such law. I mean, the ISO requirement, actually it is completely voluntary, and there is no such law, and there is no requirement is there. So as I earlier in the start of the our discussion, I informed that what happens that now when government clients or some private clients, they insist that the company should have the ISO certification, right? So what will happen that the organization will be compelled to take ISO certification. Now here also a tricky part is there, means they will take the ISO certification, but what may happen that in the true meaning ISO system implementation is not up to the mark in the organization. But when the company itself believes that they want to implement the ISO requirements thoroughly, then only good results would happen. As I gave you the example of that organization, right? They started earlier. So the management told, means when the first audit happened, and management told, means the requirement was not meeting. Then management asked the certification body that fail us, don't give us the certificate. The executive management said, don't give us certificate. We will work on it. We will improve, we will comply, and then again audit will be there, and you may issue us the certificate. Right. So what happens that there are certification bodies. So the organization which wants to, if we say the stepwise, so what will happen that the organization who wants to go for sorry, ISO certification, they will need to create their, they will need to jot down their processes, and those processes should be aligned to the ISO requirements, and they should have minimum manual requirements. So there are 4 levels of manuals are there, and they should comply those manual requirements. And based on that, they will hire a certification body. Now that certification body, IRCA or CQI and those organizations certified that certification body can issue ISO certificate to the organization. So certification body, we can say it is a nodal body, but there are multiple nodal bodies in any countries. So they will audit their processes, and they will issue the certificate to the organization. And usually these certificates, these management standard certificates are for 3 years. So first, when the first year it is means when first time it is certificate is awarded, and at that time what audit is done, it is called certification audit, and then consecutive 2 years it is surveillance audit conducted. And again in the 4th year or 4th audit, or after completion of third year, again it is called either it is called recertification audit, or means it is called recertification audit. And again they will be given certificate for 3 years. So this is the entire cycle.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. That was really nice to understand the cycle. And like you were saying, that's a lot of work. So first you certify, then surveillance for 2 years, then recertify. So I think that's a lot of work from the ISO team as well. Yeah. And sir, I was just thinking, like India right now is one of the biggest manufacturing hub in the world. And it has both the local companies, domestic companies, and international companies. So like in your experience, do you think ISO certified companies has a higher trust or brand understanding in the marketplace or something like that?
Very tricky point you have asked. Now what will happen particularly in terms of say manufacturing or in a product? So what will happen, we have seen in their marketing that it's an ISO certified company, ISO 9001 certified company, right? So now ISO 9001 certification is not, it does not give the result of their actual product. It is not a reflection of their product, but it is reflection of their process for to manufacture that product, right? Of course, that process, if the process is standardized, if that process is aligning to ISO requirement, definitely the process will be good, and in turn, a product will be a good quality. But it does not guarantee that the product will be best one only. And yes, you mentioned say some MNC companies vis-a-vis Indian companies. So it may happen that even Indian companies' products are even better than MNC companies also. But definitely it will not, as I will reiterate that it does not guarantee a good quality of the product itself, but definitely it will reflect how good, how better way the company is implementing their processes.
Right, sir. So yeah, that's really interesting because it doesn't tell you about how good the product is, but it does ensure that the process is good. And sir, when you were talking about process, I took some courses like Six Sigma Green Belt, Six Sigma Black Belt, and they talk a lot about process. You know, they talk about the process in Toyota plant in Japan and stuff like that. So are these connected in a way, or what do you think? Or
No, Six Sigma is a separate, I mean, that is a separate certification. It is not connected with ISO. But let me, you did mention about Japan. What has happened that Japan has given a lot of standardized practices to the world. So many organizations in Japan, as you rightly mentioned about Toyota. So Toyota gave their best processes in the world for manufacturing, and they have given, no doubt their products are best, but they have given even the best practices in ISO implementation.
Okay, okay, understood. So, sir, moving forward to our next question. So, how do you engage frontline teams and make them see the benefits of ISO practices instead of treating them as a burden?
So for my point is that for frontline team workers, it should be simple and relevant to their daily routine, right? ISO should not be a burden. When I have seen, when in past it used to happen that even currently, say we talk about ISO 9001. So currently version is 9000. ISO 9001 2015 version is going on. A draft version has been published, and probably the 2026 version, I mean next year 26 version will be there. So the earlier version was ISO 2008, and the earlier to that was ISO 9001 2000. So in that versions, what happened, there are a lot of documentation requirement were there. So duplication of work, and for to maintain those records, separate resources are required, or the person who is doing he need to do duplication of work, right? So but now ISO also has understood, ISO committees have understood, they have removed those parts. They are not saying that those documents should be in a physical form only. Even soft copy documents are allowed to be maintained. So it should be simple, relevant, as I mentioned, it should be simple and relevant for the daily routine. So celebrate small wins like completion of concreting of an element without any observation, or save work days, or completion of some thousands of some lakh work safe man hours, and smoother approvals, etc. Right? So celebration of those small wins. Then once everyone sees that benefit directly, what will happen that it will stop. They will also it will stop them feeling like a burden. So storytelling from real life incident often works better than the PowerPoint slides.
Right, sir. That is very true. I mean, storytelling always help to connect better with frontline workers and I think all kind of workers. So, sir, I was just thinking previously when you were telling about the first year is certification, then surveillance. So that first year certification, how much time does it take? Like 3 months, 6 months to do that whole process of ISO checking?
So usually, if the organization support is good, and if I mean external consultant is there and they guide to the organization, ultimately what will happen, that consultant will just collate the processes, but the processes will have to be prepared from the particular stakeholder only. Because suppose I am a consultant and I go to organization, I don't know what is their process, or they might be telling me one or two processes, but not all the processes I will be able to understand. So they need to jot down their all processes. So the consultant may help in collating those processes only. But I will say minimum 3 months time, and if the work is more, or the complete, maybe the current organization condition completely in haywire, so the implementing processes, and then awareness programs, and those programs are there. So 3 to 6 month time it may take. Also, what will happen that now certification body, good certification body, what they do that even when the company is going first time, it is going for a certification, so they will do even pre-audit also. So before audit, they will check. In pre-audit, it will be not be physical visit. So probably they will just go through the documentation, but it will be a pre-audit. So in the documentation, if any processes or any standard requirement is missing, they will suggest them to comply them, and then the audit will be there. So what will happen? It will save time of the organization. But we can say around first time when the organization going, then 3 months is minimum. 3 to 6 months time is okay.
Right, sir. So, sir, if I correctly understand, for example, if you are the lead auditor, so you come to my company and you help me collate all the processes, and then you say, okay, your company processes are fine, then we will submit this to the ISO team to get me the certificate?
So, that ISO team, what you mentioned is like almost correct, but only thing is that ISO team is the certification body. So there will be two parallel process will be there. I mean, to create our own processes, etc. At the same time, we will means the organization will finalize the certification body. So we approve the certification bodies. There are multiple certification bodies are there. So if we approach the certification body, we explain them the what is requirement, and it will depend upon number of manpower or type of processes, etc. So based on their understanding, means they will the certification body will ask for means they will have some template for organization will give them a reply in that template. They will give the details of the organization, and based on that certification audit will give the quotation, and based on the certification body's expertise as well as their experience in particular field, right? Why I'm saying in particular field, that like what happens that not all certification body will be able to properly audit some of the industry, like in construction industry, I will say. Very few certification bodies are okay with certification of construction companies, because a lot of risk factors and lot of risk hazards are involved. So based on their expertise and their codes, then we find when the organization finalizes the certification body, and as I mentioned, that processes are ready, and they will be sent to CB for their pre-audit. After pre-audit, generally 15 to 20 minutes time is there, and then CB will come to the organization for the certification audit.
Okay, sir, I understand. Thank you for sharing the whole process. Okay, moving forward, so now we will come to the technology part. So what role does technology play in making ISO systems more practical, scalable, and measurable?
So technology is now need of the hour, we will say. I mean, when we are talking about technology, and currently now AI is everywhere, and of course there are some of the softwares available which they are using AI for even hazard detection, etc. So technology definitely really definitely will change the game. So relevant softwares, mobile apps, dashboards, it makes easy to track safety and quality in real time. What will they do? That they will cut down the paperwork and give instant visibility to reviewers and managers. Now, what used to before technologies or softwares or mobile apps, what happens that there are paperwork is there, then they miss to send to the person they need to send. Then the person is does not collect those details, and when the review happens, the particular project or particular areas review remains because that detail is not available. But when such mobile app softwares etc. available, so that immediately everyone will be able to see even intermittently also that their detail is not updated, right? So what happens that the data at the fingertips, leaders will be able to quickly appreciate work and take faster and better decisions.
Right, sir. I think, yeah, technology and apps and AI will definitely bring this information on fingertips and allow the organization as well as the bodies who certify to communicate much easily. So, sir, what are the top 3 mistakes you see company making during ISO implementation?
Organization make many mistakes, right? So maybe those are not deliberate also, but there are many things come across in the organization for implementation also. But if we list down that top 3, what will happen that we already discussed, that they first and foremost is that they treat it as a certification exercise only, right? So ISO certificate, the certificate is there on the wall, it's there for the display, but real time implementation is not there. Then second is copy pasting procedures probably which don't fit in the organization. So I will say partially that is even consultants are also at fault. What happens? They will have some templates of the processes, and they will implement. They will inform the organization to implement those, but not necessarily. Even I will not say the sector like manufacturing of single item, similar type of manufacturer also, but they may have a different. They may have some different processes. Construction companies, so one construction company, other construction company, but they may have some different process. So everyone should understand what is actual process is there, and then based on the implementation, processes should be written and then implemented. And last but not the least, not engaging leadership and frontline teams enough. Now, what has happened in the previous from 2015, 9001, 2015, 9000 and 40,000 version are 2015, and ISO 45,000 version is of 2018. What has happened that from those years, they have management committees, ISO committees have given emphasis for leadership commitment. How much leadership is committed for the implementation? What they are saying, it will only percolate down the line. The downline people will not be able to push. Suppose they will be able to push at the one higher level or at the max second higher level. But what about leader? But what will happen when the leadership is committed? Their entire process or their leadership commitment is percolated in the organization. So the even last row of the person will be able to see true implementation. He will understand that his CEO, his MD insists on this. So he will implement, even we can say the last person in the hierarchy. He will do. So what happens is these three mistakes turn ISO into burden rather than benefit to the organization.
Right, sir. So I think that's a very good strategy, because top down it has much more impact than going from bottom up. So yeah, that's very true. So finally, sir, if you had one advice you want to give to CEOs or project managers on how to turn ISO into a business advantage, what would that be?
Very nice question you have said. So in the previous point also we discussed about management commitment. And what will management commitment bring? It will bring the culture, right? So actually it's all about the culture. What goes in, it comes out. So my advice is, don't chase the paper, chase the culture. If company uses ISO to improve quality or build safety, discipline, to enhance efficiency into daily routines, the business gains like client trust, smoother projects, it comes automatically. In a nutshell, use the standard as a tool, not a trophy. Build culture. My only one advice to CEOs and project managers, because project managers are the top management in their project. So build culture, not just a paper trail.
Right, sir. Thank you for that advice. I'm sure it will be beneficial for so many of our audience. And before I finish, so I was looking at your profile. So from civil engineering to quality control and now to ISO certification, like you have a very big and beautiful span of career. So these days, children or younger engineers always think that should we go into this ISO field or not. So can you just share a bit in your journey? How did you get through these phases in short?
So as I was in I am in the quality field. Quality field means more than around 20 years. So what happened that ISO, earlier in my career phase, ISO was part of the role, but it actually I got attracted towards it, and I had a keen interest over it. So what happens? It is logical. If you understand the requirements of the ISO, and if we correlate it with the procedures, actual procedures. So in a way, we can say the combination, actually that inherent combination is there. But it is only important thing is that we need to make people aware about that combination. So what happens, the implementation is automatically very smooth implementation is there. And I just want to add one point that very recently, it used to happen that one very good group, they wanted to implement their internal audits process, and they were finding difficult to get the projects audited by their internal auditors. So I completed around 20 locations for the internal audits, maybe in a 2 months time. So 20 location internal audits were there, and definitely the results were, they could see the findings were there, they were presented, and the results also were such that they also now understood that they need to make improvement in those processes.
Right, sir. So I think you did a very amazing job, like 2 months, 20 audits, and then they realize that this is an important thing and they are moving forward with that. So thank you, sir, for showing us that ISO is not just about getting certified, it's about building systems that make organizations stronger, safer, and more competitive. To all our listeners, if your company has been treating ISO as just a tick box exercise, maybe it's time to rethink. Done right, it can reshape how you operate and position your company for long-term success. That's all for today's episode here at Hacklab Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and share this episode with your colleagues, and join us next time as we continue to bring insights from leaders shaping the future of safety, quality, and operation excellence. Until next time, take care and have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.